Will we be getting a free LR this 11th anniversary? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We got another Dokkan Battle video here. Hey, we just under 2 days from the live stream reveal for the part 2 LRs for the 11th anniversary. UI Goku and Blue Vegeta and the Super Saiyan. Now, the big question on everybody's mind, aside from what do they do, is of course, right, will we be getting another free LR Dragon in this campaign? So for this video, we're going to break down everything we know about the current campaign compared to the last campaign and see what the answer is. So let's start with the obvious, right? Last year, right, when they released treasure item, the special memorial dragon stone, it was available towards the end of the campaign, at the part 3 campaign. So after part 2 was done, right, like just right at the very end, they revealed what this was. Now, the thing about this special dragon stone is we knew about this special dragon stone since before the campaign had started, as it was in the data from day one. The only thing is, we weren't sure exactly what it was used for. Come to find out, the reason it was in the data so early is that it ended up being connected to the Porunga Dragon Ball campaign, right? Porunga Dragon Ball campaign launched at the beginning of the celebration, and for the entirety of the celebration, you were able to collect up the Dragon Balls, and eventually, right, once you had collected up enough towards the end, you were able to make your special wish, and one of those wishes included a special 10th anniversary wish, which would grant you the stone. And for those that don't remember, this stone allowed you access to every single character in the game, including up to the brand new LR Super Vegito and Super Vegeta, right? The 10th anniversary LRs, considered to be the best in the game at the time. Now, here's the thing, though, right? This campaign worked because the way they structured the Dragon Balls was that, you could only collect, it was spaced out throughout the entire campaign, so you weren't able to get all 7 until the very end, meaning you weren't going to be able to make this wish till part 3 anyway, and you were able to make this recruitment here. So knowing that, well, the interesting thing is, I don't say interesting, but in the current 11th anniversary campaign, there is no Porunga Dragon Ball campaign. There's no Dragon Ball collection campaign, which, I mean, to be honest, aside from the fact that it's really odd that there isn't, because, I mean, it's a perfect chance to introduce something like the red dragon from the, the human dragon from Dragon Ball Daima, right? They could have done something with that, but they didn't. So there not being a Porunga Dragon Ball campaign kind of leads me to believe that there may not be one there may not be a stone this time around, aside from the fact that it is exclusively talked about as a 10th anniversary wish. But we'll come back to that thought in a minute. Now, it is possible that there could be a Porunga Dragon Ball campaign tied to part 2 and the UI Goku and Blue Evolution Vegeta, or they could be tying something with, right, they could bring back the Shadow Dragons Dragon Ball event, or they could bring back the not bring back, or they could do something with the Super Dragon from from Dragon Ball Super for part 2, or just do a regular campaign. Now, the interesting thing would be if they did end up doing a Porunga campaign for a shorter time period, but within part 2, that would almost lead me to believe that the initial assumption I had that part 2 was meant to be part 1 is actually true. if the Prolonged campaign ends up being with part two. But that's neither here nor there. So, no Prolonged campaign makes me feel like there isn't going to be a stone, right? Since it was specifically tied to that campaign. Does that mean there can't be other ways of getting it, right? Missions or, some other type of participation campaign in order to get some form of special stone to recruit a character? Yeah, they absolutely could, but it doesn't look great. Now, here is the thing. So I do want to talk a little bit about this because while all of this does say specific, right, 10th anniversary Dragonstone, right, 10th anniversary Wish, I don't think that necessarily means the other side to this argument is that doesn't necessarily mean this was locked into the 10th anniversary, right? If we take a look at other campaigns here, right, and the one that really sells it for me here is when we start talking about, right, like the Dokkan Special Day, right? So Dokkan Special Day, when it was first announced, was announced as something to celebrate the 10th year of Dokkan, right? Specifically stating that this is something that is for year 10 of Dokkan Battle. And right, for those that don't know, Dokkan Special Day every 10th and 15th, or every 1st and 15th of the month, right? You can run missions on the Chamber of Spirit and Time, right? Not only increase your link level, but run missions to get tickets to summon on banners of your choice. Obviously, for anniversary is a little different. They're not doing it that way, but outside of the anniversary, right, you get free special tickets that can be used to summon on whatever the available Dokkan Fest or Yellow Coin LR is for the campaign. Now, with that said, right, even though it was advertised initially as a year 10 exclusive thing, and when it came to the end of the year, they announced it the following way, right? And I couldn't find the original news. I think like as soon as these leave the news, they're gone forever or something. I could not find the original, but thankfully, Truth actually had posted this. So, uh, you know, when they released the last campaign of 2025, they specifically mentioned, right, the last campaign, the last Dokkan Day campaign of 25. And, there were some people in the split community to think that, oh, well, this meant it's not coming back in 2026. Sure enough, it did, right? Sure enough, it did, right? Even Truth and Proton here in this very post suggest that, yeah, of course it is coming back, right? And so despite the fact that it was advertised as something exclusively for 10 year, we know that it did end up coming back in 2026 with the superhero campaign, and again here during anniversary. In fact, we will be having a Dokkan Day right as the Part 2 banner releases, right? Even though it won't have tickets. So that is one thing that, leaves me on the side of saying, like, just because it says it only happened during the 10th anniversary does not mean they can't make the adjustment in order to accommodate the 11th anniversary. Another thing I think is worth considering here is the update to the Turtle Schools mission. Now, this is kind of out there, but all right, when you really think about what this is doing, right? Every single day you run your daily missions, you are gaining um you are gaining these milk items, which over time, once you build up 30 of them, you can exchange for a Red Dragon Stone 11, which can be used to exchange any characters in the Red Dragon Stone, which are basically all of the old Dokkan Fests and upcoming Super Easy Days, right? And they'll update the list accordingly as the year goes on. Now, the reason I bring this up is because it shows that Dokkan can and will change things to be more player friendly, right? The fact that this is now a permanent, ongoing thing, always there for you to recruit, I think is indicative of an ability to change or add things. And they specifically they specifically added these through missions, right? It's not just like typically these were added through a login bonus, right? You would receive them on login or like previously Dragon Ball Perunga Dragon Ball campaigns, but they are specifically gained through collection of missions and then exchanging of an item. They could very well do something exactly like this should they choose to add a similar stone back towards the end of the campaign. Um, it could be that, right, they want to hide this stone, right? Because, again, after all, it was pretty much spoiled in the beginning of the campaign, which really, I mean, not to say that it didn't give away the prize when this announcement video did drop. If you guys remember, this was the announcement video that dropped towards the end and then basically told us you can recruit your favorite character. And again, here it also, again, make a special 10th anniversary wish, right? Nobody expected it to actually mean what it meant, but it was still somewhat spoiled because we knew something was coming with it, and we knew it couldn't have been those old, tickets, as no banner was ever found to associate with them, right? What typically when we get like these rainbow memorial stones, they're exchanged for tickets, but that's not what happened here. So that, you know, this could be a situation where they were likely trying to hide it, and that's maybe why we haven't seen anything in regards to that. But that's neither here nor there. So I just kind of wanted to lay out my thought process here. There are two possible paths they can take, right? Either there is unlikely to be one, because of, and I'm leaning towards this. There's unlikely to be a free LR, as it is advertised specifically as a 10th anniversary wish and was connected to a Prorunga Dragon Ball campaign, which we do not currently have in this celebration, as it typically would last the entirety of the celebration, and it's just not present here. So I believe that means we will not see this free LR. Sorry, guys. I know a lot of you guys were asking and hoping, but I wanted to put this video out here. My ultimate thoughts is this is the case. But I will say, right, there is a non-zero chance. I don't want to say definitively, right, because we never know, right? There is a non-zero chance that they could very well, like they did with Dokkan Day, and just say, hey, you know what? We're doing it anyways, and we're bringing it back for this year and tie it to some sort of mission collection thing, right? Like they do with Dokkan Day, like they did with the Roshi event, and still give it out anyways, just as part of the 11th anniversary. So just want to throw out there, there's a non-zero chance they could do that, but I think it's very likely you won't be seeing a free LR again this year. So guys, that is it for the video. If you guys like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know. What do you guys think? Do you think that's a possibility they could still do the free special Dragonstone for the free LR? Again, I'm really sorry. The answer has to be no. But I'm curious to see, are any of you guys holding out hope? I think a lot of what it largely had to do, of course, with it being the 10th anniversary, but also having to do with, right, Vegito being as powerful as he was. They essentially needed to do something to give everybody a level playing field for the rest of the year, especially knowing what they ended up doing with GDC, right? But I mean, that could be completely coincidental. But I do think there is an unlikely chance we'll see it again. But let us know in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.